problem is me, not the system, not the state. The problem is me. If I just
Where,
conform,
where,
if I just assimilate more,
where can I
then
see
things will be
this?
better.
Where can I see this?
You're gonna have to download like TikTok, which I don't even know how to use, but that is a propaganda machine to the T, and unfortunately, it's shaping a lot of young minds and recycling the old shit that we keep telling people didn't exist.
I might have to start just observing TikTok because I'm.
Talk to Shahid. Talk to Shahid, and he can point you to all of it because it's everywhere on all kind of platforms. Like it's the same old shit, just different day. And
That's
unfortunately, because
interesting.
we don't have that connection with our elders, or the
Let's see.
ones we do who are very conservative, they want to look at the past in these rose tinted glasses, and so we can't even get a good framework from them on how like this
Well,
shit's
see,
going down. So it's very effective.
when that was more than just a marketing philosophy. It really was part of the consciousness of America. But what people must remember is that we had full employment while that was going on, and there were practically no women in the workplace outside the home. A vast majority of women were still in the home. And so this whole have you cooked dinner for your man today even though it's still, it was a very, very different, no less oppressive, but at least part of a role in the wider context of the whole family, where the roles were absolutely dichotomous, where women stayed home and cooked, cleaned the house, took care of the domestic tasks of doing the market, the shopping, blah, 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 raising it. The dude went out and did the breadwinning, etc., etc. That model.
So does that depending vary on class? Because like I said, my working class family, the women, black women have always worked.
Yeah. Well, most have, at some point or another,
Mm,
if they were married, one way or another, even though their man was
right.
working, just because, the economy of being black forces us into the labor market when other people are
Mhm.
not. I mean, that whole thing where women devised all these techniques like selling plates, which literally became a tradition, has become a tradition in black communities. Churches do it, people do it when they need money. In my community, they put up signs on telephone poles, so and so and so and so, dinner selling plates, $12. They tell you what's on the plate, chicken leg, and people are still doing it. Just so independent. I saw a lot of plates selling on the side, a lot of women selling
Cleaning
baked
houses.
goods.
Selling like fruits and produce they grew in their
So,
backyards. Like black women have always worked,
yeah,
which is
some of
why
that.
their roles being wiped out of the labor movement is a travesty. Because again, black women were already in the labor movement, so of course they would understand like the conditions and have an analysis on it. So yeah, unfortunately, by class, not all women were in the household. A lot of black women
Yeah,
were in the workforce
right,
and been on
in
there
the
since
workforce and
slavery.
in the household, so doing both.
hmm Doing both, and then having to raise grandkids too, because along with living under those systems, under capitalism, you're living under white supremacist violence, where your husband or uncle or brother or whoever, sisters, siblings, everybody could be killed just from walking down the street, either lynched, raped, and then they die by suicide, or any of the combination. People's lives are constantly being lost. So you end up having it where your older sister might be raising the kid, her own siblings, or the grandma who thought they were done raising kids is now raising their grandkids and their great grandkids because their lives of their parents are being taken, or So yeah, the hardships it is a different picture,
Well, it's a
but
much different picture, and it's not quite
mhm,
as wide. Well, it's much more widespread than it used to be. We have always been a barometer for the rest of the working class, just because our community is much more sensitive to changes in the labor market. We always have been. But even though women have always been in the labor market in some form or another, even when they were not going out, because I had uncles that would not allow their wives to work in white men's homes. No matter how hungry they became, no matter how little he made, it was not going to happen. We'll just have to start. It's not going to, since that ain't going to happen. We'll figure out some other way if you insist on making some money. And there were a whole core of black men in the South. See, I'm thinking and remembering early 1950s. You don't really, really see, by the time Moynihan writes that report on the black family in 1966, he's basically looking at stuff between the end of World War II really the end of the Korean War, and probably 1964 at the latest. And that's a period when there was almost no unemployment in the North in the factory jobs, almost none in northern large cities. Now, what was going on in regions like the Mississippi Delta, and in Appalachia and in parts of the Ozarks is well known, what the levels of starvation that was being declared. But other than there were pockets of working class temporary stability after World War II, which really allowed for a lot of development in music, etc., etc. Which is not to say that there were not circumstances that needed to be changed. Of course, there were all over the place, and the rural areas that needed those changes probably needed them more because they didn't have sewers as late as the early 1970s. There were still open sewers in parts of Mississippi. I know for a fact. So, there was what you find is that in those areas that had the highest slave labor, they seem to be the states now that are the least developed economically in terms of their level of technology. They're behind educationally vis-a-vis the other states. That's very interesting when you step back and look at whether or not slavery was ultimately beneficial, because the areas that had the largest slave concentration are the least developed. You look at those places like South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, they're least developed in terms of places like Massachusetts. Those centers of
Oh,
the economy. Anyway,
oh.
thank you for
No,
indulging
thank
me.
you, Miss Francis. I hope you stay because I really love talking and listening to you. It's the wisdom you hold is very valuable, and I value being in this space. Um, go ahead, Isaac.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of add on in like two parts that you guys were talking about. Uh, when we think of like marriage, and I think Elder Dancing Tree bring it up, slavery. This is a white supremacist patriarchal system that told and forced our ancestors, i.e., the individuals in here that are from the African diaspora, they were sold into marriage at some point. They were forced to be together and whatnot. And I think we need to also question that this is a patriarchal system that deems same-sex marriage to be basically a taboo. Like people back then, like people to this day don't know that Harriet Tubman had a woman lover. There's a lot of things that people under this system don't get, and it all goes back to understanding that even marriage is a problem under the system. We cannot say that, oh, marriage is I'm sorry, but any person that's saying under capitalism that marriage, being together, is feasible, no, you're going to have problems, because the biggest problem of all is white supremacy and capitalism, which rules over all of us right now. Which is why we have individuals that get on fucking TikTok that become misogynistic and shit, and are like, well, a woman needs to be in the kitchen, and a woman needs to, cook for her man every night. What if she doesn't have a man? That's how ignorant this system is that they believe the same lie that's been perpetuated over and over and over and over and over again, is that a man and a woman need to be together, and that's the only way that a society coexists. No, fuck that. I know people right now that have that have a better lifestyle being with the same sex than being with someone that isn't, and that's not based off of preference. That's legit just fucking facts. Like that, like you can't we can't keep going on in society uh perpetuating these aesthetics, like the host said. These are all aesthetics to be dementive towards women, particularly black women under this system. These are all aesthetics that are used to in part and as a whole disrupt things like marriage. The system doesn't know what marriage is. They think marriage is going to a judge and having the state control your the means of your relationship. No, it also is based off of consumption, i.e., capitalism. Every time that someone, every time that someone goes and gets married,
I'll go ahead and cook until he comes back because he was cooking, so I'll remember where he left off, so that way you can pick back up. Um, yeah, and the thing is that I guess where I'm at, right, is that I'm not saying that love can't exist under these conditions because obviously people have created and made that possible. So what I'm saying is that like the elder said before, I just don't believe in love being or in a healthy approach to relationship is just saying like, oh, I felt this way, so therefore that's just what it is and ride on the feeling. I don't think that's intentional enough. I think you can't just go by lust and attraction by their physical appearance because again, if I'm living under white supremacy and I'm indoctrinated to see anyone in proximity to whiteness, biracial, light skin as attractive, I will have to question why I'm really attracted to this person. And I think in going through those processes of thinking and being intentional in that way, it helps you to have a deeper connection with people because then you challenge not only yourselves, but the way in which like y'all choose to face the world together. Oh, what's up, Isaac? You're back.
Yeah, sorry, my you guys were hearing my my little cousin's getting scolded by my mom. So I didn't want y'all to hear that. I don't want them being on the recorded. Thank you for at least giving me that time to pause for a little bit. Um, Again, it's not feasible under this system. We have to look at the way it like it has evolved. It is since the 60s. I mean, like I can even go back to I never grew up. I mean, and this is because we all are holistic. This system teaches a monolithic approach to understanding when it's really a holistic approach that needs to be put into perspective, not into perspective, but into action, because we all live different lifestyles. I could say for myself, like when people say, well, things just need to go back to the 60s or the 70s or the 80s, I have examples right now. I can give you my great aunt Annie, may she rest in peace. She used to tell me stories of her husband, her ex-husband, who died before she did. Um, he was a Green Beret, and used to sock her in her fucking thighs. She used to tell me stories like this. So no, I have that as an example to be like, no, I don't want to go back to that because again, there was some form of conformation that was there. He conformed because he became a part of the military. She conformed by not saying anything until that man died. Okay, saying that this is what happened, this is how it happened. I could even go back to my great grandmother, may she rest in peace. I wish I could talk to her right now. She can give me so much insight on how I'm feeling, how I'm doing. She I have stories of even her, my grandmother telling me, yeah, I used to see her and my daddy get into arguments, and when my daddy used to try and storm out, she used to grab him by his shirt. She was like, and I remember one time I seen every single button fly off of his shirt because she grabbed him and he escaped. That's how he escaped. She grabbed him from the back and all the buttons busted and he was able to escape. But it's like, as much as that to me is funny because that's a personal story. It shows you the dysfunctionality within marriage under the white supremacist mode of capitalism. We cannot keep thinking that the state has some form of control over our lifestyle. No, that is not what the state is there for. The state is to inflict fear, terror, and they do that by police officers. They do that by county workers. They do that by a bunch of others. I'm going on a tangent, and I don't want to, so I'm gonna end my plane right there abruptly. Thank y'all.
No, you're cooking because you made me start thinking about like that's why when people say that when you side with like fascism, when you side with misogyny, transphobia, homophobia, and all of these things, you're siding with the state because these things exist to keep communities fractured. They exist to keep connections fractured. So if you're fractured, you cannot organize to dismantle the state. So again, you cannot approach marriage if you choose to approach it in a radical way because you want this world to change. You want a better society. You want an absolute connection. Well, then you have to be intentional and you have to understand that that comes with questioning and having a lot of different conversations in which you say, damn, in what way am I indoctrinated? Like, what am I just going along with because it doesn't challenge my privilege? But then at the expense of who? My partner? Like when you approach it in that way, that becomes a radical love, an act of resistance from the state because then you form connections that can last 60 years. But that doesn't just mean romantic. That's also platonic. That's also with your neighbor, like approaching it in a radical love in that way. You can sustain these connections in that way. You can organize, form resistance, and then knock down the state. So the state has a direct investment in having these toxic conditions thrive, which is why Andrew Tate is famous and why he's on your YouTube suggestion, even though you don't go nowhere near the shit. It is why your YouTube suggestions are all of these weird ass fucking relationship advice podcasts that you're like, how the fuck do these keep going viral? Is because they feed into that toxicity, and that works on behalf of the state. So that's a plenty. And that's why these aesthetics are right there for us to find, but no examples of radical love. So yeah, just go ahead, Isaac.
No, like you bring up a valid point, because like we have individuals that are like on TikTok and YouTube. They are like literally, they're younger than me. Like I'm 26, they're younger than me, and they're out there giving fucking relationship advice. And well, this is how something. It's like you don't know it because you've never experienced true love. And Penn, me and you had a conversation, where we talked about unconditional love. No one fucking knows unconditional love under the system, this mode of capitalism. They don't. They think love is gifts. They think love is fucking having ultimate the best sex in the world. It's like, no, that's not what love is to me. Love is if like how our elder said, the people who will be there at the end, that will be making your arrangements, that will be like, and having these legitimate, having these fucking thoughts of, well, fuck, that's the last time I'm gonna see them. That's the last time I stepped. When was the last time that all of these thoughts come in, thoughts of love, of real love, real moments in time, that they had. Love to me is not when someone's fucking buying me something, or they're calling and they're checking up on me 24/7. That's not love to me, man. Love to me is you making sure that you're good, but I'm good as well, and I'm doing the same thing. These 24-year-olds, these Andrew Tates, they tell you to disrespect women, tell you to disrespect gay people, disrespect people from the LGBTQ community. They're riddled in misogyny, but they're also riddled in eugenics. So they tell you to demonize black women. Don't go after, because they're quote unquote, they're ratchet, they're ghetto. Okay, do you even know where the term ghetto came from? It was to describe the ruins for which the Jewish people lived under Nazi Germany. But you're too ignorant to understand that, because you're too riddled in capitalism. You're too riddled in fucking misogyny, misogynoir. Well, I can't even say that fucking word. I probably sounded probably sounded illiterate saying it. But these things, these individuals, they're placed in society to keep this going, to keep it perpetuated and propelled. And we need radical love spaces where we see people that have probably been together for 40 years, and are showing radical love. And I'm not saying anybody who's just any random old person. No, I mean radical love means they have an understanding of scientific socialism. They have an understanding that this system ain't for them, and even under the system, them saying that they're in a marriage, or that they're married, is not feasible, because marriage under the system is consumption. You're consuming either way. There's a document you're going to have to sign, and then some other documents you're going to have to sign. And guess what? They give you incentives, tax incentives. They try and make it seem, oh, it makes it easier to get a house, buying into the patriarchal white supremacist mode. So it comes from Dancing Trees. Thank you. Comes from Italy. Let me rephrase that. It comes from Italy, the ghettos of Italy. So yeah, when we think of marriage, like, please, for any individual that's out there, really look at what marriage is under the system, and potentially what it could be under a system that really is for the people, that does not demonize women, that does not demonize the LGBTQ community, the two-spirit community, and it actually sees love for something that isn't a commodity in it at all. It's I can't even describe it, because under this system you can't. Like, I've never seen it before. Someone might have lusted over me, created some form of lust, but that shit wasn't love. I don't No one knows what love is. I'm sorry, I don't think, really, honestly, and maybe I don't want to make this a debate or an argument or anything, but I just truly don't think people understand love under this system. They understand lust, and rephrase it and rebrand it as love, but it's not. It's lust. We all are lusting. I'm lusting. You know what I love? I would love revolution. But even then, so do I understand love? No, I don't. Under the system, I don't, until it's burned in a fucking garbage can, and we start making decisions that actually are for the people. then I think we'll start to see sparks of what true love is. We'll start to see people not care about the dollar amount and more about, the people amount. The how are people being, taken care of, not from a dollar standpoint consumption. So I went on a tangent, little ramble. I apologize, but thank you for the time.
Nah, you're good. You're cooking. I wanted to kind of touch back on when you mentioned like a 16-year-old looking at like a dating advice thing, and to just reinforce how the purpose of that is not only like to, adultify kids, especially Black kids, but it's also to instill in them an indoctrination that's very much toxic. Like so that it basically propaganda on behalf of the state. That's what I'm saying. The way you function in your relationships, if you don't go about it intentionally to challenge these things, to not allow like hierarchies to exist in your home. To say, now we're equal here, we both have to say, and or like challenge each other when we say certain things. Like if I'm ableist, you should be able to tell me that, and we should be able to talk about it and dismantle those things. Yes, that happens in a romantic relationship too. Like you have to create, like you have to practice these things. And I think the way romance is sold to us is that it's this airy feeling you feel all the time, and then that's a marriage. And if you feel anything outside of that, then you need to go to counseling because y'all need to know how to lie to each other and pretend and to stay pretending and to keep it going. And we'll just get a tune up every now and again. It's not, that's how they sell it to us, because that type of relationship, those people who maintain those relationships, they're no challenge to the state. They will not organize in their community. They will not care if the person is homeless. Their mind will be kept in disarray and dysfunction, and trying to maintain this toxic union through the parameters of the state, too busy to fight for anything called the liberation or even ask themselves what liberation looks like. And that's why radical love is necessary, because like in order to get free, we're going to have to learn to relate to each other. We can't be a bunch of individuals just with guns, then, going and shooting up something and think that's overthrowing the state or creating a new society, or that that's revolutionary. No, revolution means to revolutionize every aspect of society in every way. The way mothers relate to children, children relate to their parents, so on and so forth. But yeah, go ahead, Isaac, and then Maze, what's up?
No, I just like I have like a legit question because you brought up something like marriage counselors. Like are they really helpful in certain instances? Are counselors really needed? Because I've seen in some cases where people will go to these counselors and they'll get what they feel is help, but really it's telling them like, hey, just it's trying to pinpoint flaws within each other to then try and create like this argumentative state, where it's like, oh, you guys are arguing over like little things, but if you just sit down, and you talk about it, and it's like, really, does that, how has that helped marriages over time? And that's why I feel like even things like marriage counselors, they aid, the capitalist mode, because people are being paid to try and tell you how you should run your life, but yet are they going to adequately give you the time? No, they give you an hour at the least, and so, and I've seen it even in my own family, so I've this is a legit question, that I am asking. Are counselors beneficial, to aiding, finding a way, for people to be together and understand what, is classified as radical love? And that's a legit question. I'm young, so I have no expertise other than the three relationships that I've been in, one of which was in high school, that I really don't classify as a relationship. But if anybody can
Yeah,
answer
I think Choose can. I think Choose can answer that, and then after Choose, of course, Dance and True.
No, Dancer, you could go first.
Well, I've been married twice, divorced once, and widowed once. So I've done it all. And once we tried marriage counseling. Um, and of course, when you look for a marriage counselor, you don't know what you're looking for. So you don't know if there's a safety net. You're just kind of out there floating around trying to find somebody. And then when you think you find somebody, you think now you know this person isn't the person you want. It's terrible. Plus, it's a racket, an absolute racket. I'm not saying there are not good and effective marriage counselors out there. I have not met any. We couldn't find one. We went to several, We tried one. We said, well, let's give it, a period of time because we can't just judge it on one visit. Let's just give it a period of time and see if it leads anywhere periodically. In the meantime, you're spending money per hour, with this sucker who may or may not be. So you're literally paying to find somebody. Then when you find somebody, they string it out as long as possible, a minimum of 2 years. You would have killed each other by then, or it would have healed itself if you stay together. So my opinion of it and my personal experience with it was not very good. If perhaps we could have found, we looked for a old-fashioned community counselor. We couldn't find any. Then we tried, well, let's try a couple of the local black reverends, especially if they're older guys who've been married. But they all kept hiding behind Jesus on us. And I don't mind them talking about Jesus, but I want to address what we're coming here for. So it was just impossible. The thing is that people are engaging in marriage and it's atomized. And that is natural under capitalism. Everything is going to become atomized. So that when I was a kid and until I was a young adult, when you bought a bicycle, you got a bicycle. That included the kickstand and the seat. Well, now when you buy a bicycle, you have to buy the seat separately and you have to buy the kickstand separately. So the bicycle is being atomized, broken down into its various atomic parts. The marriage has long been atomized. It's been dissected from the wider society and those traditional supports that marriages had right on through the 1950s, right up until the early 1940s when industry started to flee the country and the economic basis literally fell out of those communities. So there were at least community supports for people that were trying to raise kids, produce another generation for the community, et cetera, et cetera. It literally just undermined it completely. So anyway, thanks. Thank you.
Yeah. It's always good to hear people's experiences with like these systems and the institutions. I haven't ever been married, but my opinion is when I was engaged, and we were looking for like premarital counseling, the most helpful thing that I did was to just get a really good therapist for myself because it's really hard when you have two contributing factors to like a equation for success. You can be like have what family therapist that's really good with one person and then other person they're not too like good on. I feel like two people who are with therapists who are meeting their needs is a better first step. But where people go wrong is I feel like a lot of counselors they do have that especially like black counselors, marriage counselors, they have like a church backing, which if you're not into that type of thing, like it's more detrimental. And there's also like patriarchal values baked into the ideology of most Abrahamic religions in general. So that's not really like a useful tool, in my opinion, to mitigate relationships. Is it's not a good tool to use religion. But I think that a lot of times when we have these conversations about therapy in general amongst Black people, it's important to remember that there's different types of therapy. So, like a lot of times, there's studies that show for people with complex trauma, the typical CBD therapy, which is like basically to like reorder your thoughts, actually harms trauma victims because basically, when if you go to someone and you're severely traumatized and they're telling you to like change the way you think about your trauma, that's just gaslighting you. And so, a lot of the most popular techniques they use in therapy is not appropriate for Black people. So then we get the idea that therapy is not for us, or therapy is not useful for us, but really we need to find a provider because they are providing medical care that is attributed like, or that is kind of like going to be able to meet our needs. Like we wouldn't go to like if I have a problem with my period, I'm not going to like a cardiologist. I'm gonna go to OBGYN. And a lot of these therapists, they're just trained on the abstraction of a human, what humans theoretically need. Um and I think even with finding a Black therapist, you have to kind of like interview them. But as Dancing Tree was mentioning, like it's so fucked up because when you go to a consultation for like a healthcare provider, like that is like mostly covered by insurance. Like you're not having to pay for that. So it just gets really it just is really hard. So I'm not really answering your question. I'm just saying like I don't know if it works because I've never been married and went to marriage counseling. I have tried to go to relationship counseling before marriage. That was really hard, and the best thing that I did for myself was find like a really, really good trauma informed therapist who actually was like in the movement and had like really solid politics, because she was the only person who, like, when I went to her and I told her like these people want to kill me, she's not like, well, maybe they don't want to kill you. Maybe they're like, I'm like, no, baby, these are white supremacists. They want to kill me. Like, she's like, but that's just your, that she was like, that's just your boss. Like, no, she was like, yeah, they are. And like, I need you to survive. Like, how can we like work together to make sure you survive this? Um, I feel like yeah, I'm gonna stop there.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you said that because to answer Isaac's question, that's what I would say. It's not the practice of giving counseling or having counseling centers or therapists or therapy that's wrong. We practice that back in communal societies. That's like one of the reasons why communal societies exist and having that extended family is that you don't go into a marriage or a connection by yourself without getting advice from the aunties. Well, the good advice, right? We're talking, let's just, no, I don't want to pretend, but saying that if you have that system in which is decolonized, right, then they can give you like good advice that could like save you and keep your marriage going, but then also make sure the individuals involved are supported and healthy and able to, do that. The extended family will help raise the kids. So it's not just on the two people. That also makes it a greater burden to be able to connect and keep love together. Like, so no, I think counseling can work. I think under white supremacist patriarchal capitalism that we find ourselves in, of course, it's commodified those areas that we could have used to help ourselves. So we'll run into more of those walls where they're not helping us, or we go to a counselor, they're most likely tied to some kind of religion. And then the job of that religion under that system of oppression is to make sure you just comply. So I'm just going to tell you like, oh, so you feel degraded in your home? Well, you need to say Psalms 5 times and click your heels and fast for 30 days and then get back to it. And then that way you don't ever question that it's the system or it's the culture, that no, it's me, it's the individual. So there's something I need to do. I need to take some pills. I need to numb myself in some way. I need to kill this part of my personality. I need to break my wings off, basically, and never fly too high. And maybe then I can survive. And that's the person that the state wants to produce. So I know that's a long way to say that no, I am very much for radical therapy approaches, people who understand the system, people who are well versed and have a politics that's based in Black liberation, because then those people can counsel, and that, has the studying behind them. Those people can counsel the people who need it, because we're all in like a permanent state of like mental health crisis. So a part of our revolution has to be setting up counseling centers and having those things available to all of us at all times. So yeah, it can work when it's ran by the people and for the liberation of the people.
Yeah, thank y'all for that. What the fuck are we gonna do for these kids on these damn seats? I'm like flabbergasted at what Elder said. They are taking seats off of bicycles now. What the hell?
I
No,
feel
that's
like
how
they've
they
been
like.
doing that.
I've been doing. That's how they be selling like toys and stuff too. Stuff that used to all
Yeah.
come together. Now you have to pay separately for everything.
Yeah, that's wild, and I'm a little irritated because like like when you try and do like something for like yourself or just something in general for like someone in your family. I was going I was gonna get a bicycle, and now I don't want to fucking get one. So I'm like, what the fuck? I don't want to have to buy
But
the damn seat.
But see, that ties into also to what we're talking about how these systems, when we don't approach them and like critically think like, yo, why the fuck do I treat this person that way? Or why do I view this person in a certain way? And we're unable to like connect to each other. We're also unable to interrogate these things in society. Like this thing me and Choose were talking about a couple of days ago, I was saying like, yo, being poor now is so different than being poor when I was a kid, right? Like my dad used to tell me stories when he was poor, he could go pick up like some coins and shit and go buy a sack of cookies for like 25 cents. And I'm like, the fuck? 25 cents might give me an M&M? Maybe when I was poor. These days, like you can't even get a McChicken sandwich. It's $5 for a McChicken sandwich. That was $1 back in my day. Like I could literally make $5 stretch. You hear me? And shop off the dollar menu and shit. There's
A
no way
honey bun
anybody.
is 150.
What? Yo, this is some wild
Y'all
shit. Like
remember
you
when Hot
can.
Cheetos was 79 cents?
Oh my fuck! Don't get me started on hot Cheetos, yo. When I was a Booger No Kid, that's all I had. I was a Booger No Kid with hot Cheetos, bro. Dust on my fingers, permanent. But now
Ew.
like no, but they can't even enjoy that. Like we're at a point in the system where we don't realize how bad it is because even though some of us are still struggling, we are kind of removed from that. The poor that exists today is on a whole nother level. Like not being able to even afford a McDonald's is not something like I could have got $2 and got two things off the dollar menu. These kids cannot. So what do you do with that kind of rage? And then the McDonald's are everywhere. The commercials are everywhere. So now you got to walk to school hungry, smelling McDonald's you can't fucking afford, right? Now McDonald's is a luxury and we're all acting like everything is fine. And then that kind of rage is bottling up and there's nowhere for it to go in a fractured community that doesn't even know how to exist in a society and a culture that can't even tell you what love is. That's what we're living in.
And what's crazy
Period.
too, I just a little insight to what you just said. Um, they will do certain things too, like say for instance how like I don't know if you guys know in Canada, like it's against the law to have a bag of hot Cheetos. Like it's against the law. From what I know, like you can't, they don't
As it
sell.
should be. No, I'm playing. I'm
And
just
yeah,
playing.
but you see how like they completely outlawed it. Okay, he said as it should be. I'm a little hurt. I'm not gonna
Nah, little
lie.
kids' fingers be looking so nasty when they eat Cheetos. I'm
This is
sorry.
anti-black. This is anti-black.
Hey, you know what? I'll
Yeah, I
take
don't know how
that.
to
I'm being
react
anti-black right now.
right. But this country will be like, oh, it's unhealthy for them. Okay, well, we'll hike the price up. So like, some people will be like priced out. But even then, so like they don't look at like how it's been adapted into certain lifestyles. Like right now, like kids are addicted to blue talkies. Like they just create like that. It took these. I had to do my own research on this shit. There was no blue, like the blue raspberry, like the color, the neon blue shit. They have to do certain testing to be able to make these things that color and also for it to taste, the same as the red one. So like it literally took them 20 years to do some shit like that, to manipulate society into believing that people need blue talkies. Like they need blue talkies. And it's all a mind fuck. And that's why, like, again, it goes back to what our host said. We can't address love until these things are addressed right now. The fact that kids have to buy a bicycle and have to buy a seat, but yet back then, it was easy enough for us to just get, or for us to buy a bike. But even then, so wasn't probably easy because some of us grew up in households for which our parents were deprived of the right to have equitable pay and stuff like that. Some of us didn't grow up with parents in our households, so a lot factors into this. But I just wanted to point that out. Like even hot Cheetos, that shit used to be 89, like 79 or 89 cents when I first started eating hot Cheetos, and now these motherfuckers are $2.69. They've been bumping it up like 20 cents every fucking like 6-7 months for the past like 20 years. That's ridiculous to know, and then to know it affects our communities because kids still want them. They still want to eat them. I'm 22 years old.
Isaac,
I eat them.
Isaac, I'm gonna tell you, during the revolution, I'm giving you the job of telling the kids they don't get blue talkies because I value my life. You can't tell these little they love they blue talkies, so you gotta tell them. I'm not. I'm not
They
telling
still
them.
what's that little dance that they do? I'm so out of touch.
Child, don't come between the kids and their talkies. I still haven't ate a talkie my whole life because every little dirty little nasty hand that just offered it to me, I was like, hell no, I'm not eating off of you.
I feel so fucking offended right now.
No, I'm talking about my students. I'm not talking about you. If you offer me some Takis, I'll probably eat it. But let me stop. Go ahead, Maze. Did you you came up here too?
Is Mace talking? Because I can't hear them.
I can't hear him either. Were you gonna say something, Pen?
Yeah. Oh, so I didn't say we can't address love first. I actually think that there's like multiple fronts in which to fight, for liberation and creating the world we want to live in, and that leaving love out would be a mistake because it's literally what we would need to interrogate in order to understand why we can't connect to each other and form sustainable bonds in order to form, a sustainable revolution. So I'd say that we need, like, I would agree with Bell Hooks. It belongs in revolution. The conversation belongs in revolution, belongs in politics, it belongs in everything, because that also was hijacked, stolen, and co-opted and commodified under capitalism, white supremacy. So yeah, that needs to be liberated as well. I don't know if Maze is back because I know they came up here to speak. Well, I don't know if y'all have anything else to say or y'all want to keep talking, but if not.
Hi,
Oh.
I didn't. Oh, I'm gonna drop down. I didn't ask for the mic, but thanks anyway. Good
No
discussion.
problem. Thank you. I'm glad you came. For real. So yeah, y'all. I guess I'll catch y'all in the next space. Supposed to have another one at 5. I'm gonna be real with y'all. Might change the time. What were you gonna say, Isaac?
I was gonna say something really stupid. I'm not even gonna lie, but
What were you gonna say?
it was gonna be about hot Cheetos, but I'm like, nah.
Yo, we together. We're comrades for a reason.
Hey,
Like, she's a hater.
after this is said and done, and we got some heads on some pitchforks and stuff like that, we like all the hot Cheetos in the
No.
world will not suffice like my.
For real though, yo, when I get fucking Henry Kissinger's head around my neck like a Flavor Flav clock, I'm gonna have hot Cheeto dust on my fingers. I'm telling you.
Wow. Y'all are radical.
What's up, Polly? What's good?
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Party people in the place to be. Yo 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 yo. What's up? Yo, what's up? How y'all doing?
What's
That
good?
was a little bit too much energy
What's
for the
good?
reading space. I know. I gotta bring it down a little bit. Hello everyone. How are you?
Is that the feel?
That's the energy in here right now. Hello everyone. How are you?
Let's go for bong
Yeah, I'm
pipe.
about to say I got a corn cob pipe right now. I actually do have on a fucking plaid robe. That's what's funny. And then like I could like cross my leg and shit and like bite the pipe and
You
look
got an
over my
ascot? You
glasses
got your
at
little
y'all.
necktie?
You know what I'm saying?
You got your little ascot, a
Yeah.
little
Oh, I
a
don't got
little
the ass guy.
tie?
I don't got that would be fire if I had that with the robe though. It's too much to be in the house dolo like that though. So nah, I can't do that. But that's, that's a
Right.
lot of prep.
Now I'm in
That
my
is a lot of
feelings.
prep. That's a lot of prep, damn it. Nah.
What? You wash your backside and you slip on the loungewear and the slides. You put on the robe. The summer one.
Man, I only got this
Okay, now I'm
robe on
bougie.
right
Okay,
now
I understand. I'm
because
too
it's
bougie.
cold in here. This is a house coat right now. That's why they call it a house coat. Because it's cold in this house and
Ooh,
I'm wearing a coat in the
grandma,
house.
go
You know what I'm
ahead.
saying? Big Ralph Lauren polo shit, you know, though. It's nice and fluffy. It's soft, you know what I mean? You know how I be doing, luxurious and all that, you know what I mean? I don't know why I came up here. I just
Period. As you
what up, y'all,
should.
what up? That's all.
I love it. The revolution will be
Facts.
luxurious. Let me stop.
And black owned business
Listen,
stuff, not colonizer stuff, you know what I'm saying?
please, let's wake that
You
up. We
heard?
all gonna
You
have
heard?
telfars. We're gonna carry the tools of the revolution in
Mm-hmm.
telfars.
The soldiers will be eating sweet baby rays, goddammit. You heard? No.
I love it here. We gonna be free one day, y'all. We gonna be free.
Yeah. But
Y'all can change chooses mine? Oh shit.
mm-hmm.
I just need to go into another Twitter space and I will lose all hope again. Do not fret. All I gotta do is listen to a couple of these niggas talk and I'll be like, we are doomed. Yo.
I'm glad I could get you that sentiment for a couple of seconds at least. You know what I'm saying?
Real talk.
That's
All
all
right,
right,
then.
cheese. We can yell at you. Mute your mic. Mute your mic. Mute your mic.
Please. No. I got
She got
complex
mad
trauma
that
from hearing
she
mute your
got mad
mic.
that I enjoyed him running down the white boy the other day.
As I should.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Ew.
nah, I know. But you who you wanted to win that fight? Okay, exactly.
I,
Thank you. We can
I
move on.
wanted
Thank you. You ain't even got to answer that. That was
I didn't
rhetorical.
I want them both to die. I want them both to
Wow.
I'm dead ass serious. I want
Hold
no
up.
winner.
Okay.
I want a full defeat of all the fascists at the same
I see
time.
where you're going
Line
with
them
this.
up,
I see where
all
you're
against the
going with this.
wall.
But the white boy
We don't got to choose.
Robin RP. At least Black ain't asked for nobody for no money yet that we know of. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
I love how you say yeah.
This is wild shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't put that jacket on him. So at least we got that. This nigga got 60K in question here, fucking 100,000 over here. Like he doing a lot.
Because they gave it to him, like, bruh, they found some nigga in some cracker in fucking parking lot of Applebee's and say, hey, you want to come on Twitter and make a buck, say reparations 3 times, and niggas gave him money, and no one's embarrassed. Like, he don't got no resume to be calling him no candidate or no politician, but yet they keep calling him a
They calling him a
politician.
reparationist.
That's wild because he has no
Did you
movement, no
hear?
shake in it, and
Did you hear the brother? What's the dude? News told the space.
I that was the one I think I went into yours
Okay.
afterwards because he wouldn't let nobody
Yes,
up. I didn't
exactly
listen to
right.
it.
So they're asking the dude questions. Anyway, y'all seen what happened there, man. The dude like did not have no response to what. All right, you
Mhm.
saw for reparations that you just want us to get it, but you don't have no kind of thought
Nothing,
process of the plan of like anything. You're
nothing.
just saying that you're for reparations. When
Reparations, that's it.
like when the follow up questions begin to get asked though, you have no answers for any of that.
Because it's a grift. And that should make everyone pissed off that people are like, hey, low level cracker who's not making it in your community, you want to make a quick buck? The blacks will sit there and give you money if all you got to do is say reparations. That should make everyone feel stupid. Like, that's where they're at. Like, any cracker who's trying to make a viral TikTok, they know they just got to go on with some braids and they know that they'll get rage engagement, or they just got to go in blackface and then they'll go viral like that. And they're getting social capital off this.
You think
The
that's
same
why so
way in
Major
which
did it?
white politicians major boom boom.
That's why he did the
Recognize.
blackface. You think
Wait,
social
what?
media engagement?
Wait,
Oh, you missed that one.
I sure did. What the fuck?
Yeah, you ain't see so Major in blackface.
Isn't the Valel Wonder supposed to be a black man to begin with? Isn't he supposed to be black? So it is that issue for him. He's struggling. He's struggling.
Please.
This is some wild shit. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the space because this usually only supposed to be
No,
an hour.
wait. Before you do, I just want to say, after seeing how they rolled out the carpet for that cracker, I
Okay.
don't want to see nobody running down no black women any longer. Because why the fuck is he safe from the smoke?
Okay.
But let me say something communistic.
Okay.
Suddenly, I'm a bitch. I'm a whore. I need to shut up. Like, what the fuck is going on?
So look,
You
why
want to
niggas
know?
don't
You want to
protect?
know
I'm gonna tell
honestly?
you. Wait,
You want to
let
know
me talk 1
honestly?
second. Wait
Okay,
1
go ahead.
second. Choose the reason that niggas let that shit happen to you all the time because they want to see you argue. That's literally the reason they let that happen to you all the time. My niggas don't be stopping that shit because they want to see you smoke these niggas. So you start getting loud. Oh, you mad? You mad? And all of that shit. And then
Why would you
niggas
sound
get
like
the.
me like that,
I'm just
I
saying,
don't know
niggas
sir?
get the
though. You know
popcorn
what?
out when
But
you do that.
real quick though, real quick though, I don't fuck with that shit either. Like, it's still violent, whether you're doing it for entertainment or you're doing it because you're a coward or that you align with fascism. Because you're telling me that y'all see her in a room getting called all kind of bitches, sluts, whores, niggas is talking about her crazy, and y'all like, oh, I just want that to happen because it's entertaining.
Oh
And
no,
so her
not
being
y'all. It's not y'all. I'm just saying that's what some of these niggas
no,
be
so
doing.
yeah, I'm gonna
She's
finish real quick
go
though.
ahead,
So it's
yeah.
like you feel me? I'm saying that this person would have to sustain a certain amount of violence for people to get their keys and their emojis up. And we don't see that as wrong. Like that's crazy to me.
And they protect a white man when
Okay.
niggas is trying to. Yeah, I don't want y'all to misunderstand what I was saying at all. I'm talking about that's why I, from the outside
Hmm.
looking in, where niggas be letting that happen to her. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That shit don't
Right.
happen to her around me.
Right. Yeah. No,
Okay,
that's
now what I
crazy.
was going to offer was this. Yeah, it's what Polly said. You know, some people just do get their kink like that, and then they just dismiss. But there's the larger portion that need to have that rebuffed. They need that pushback because, see, the bullshit that's in place tells them they're doctors, lawyers, they have PhDs, they have the good life. They are measuring themselves by the bullshit of the yardstick that is presented to them rather than pushing beyond, rather than seeing above, rather than actually attaining and transcending all of this and pushing this to be more than it is. No, they want to play with the devil that they know, and you rock the boat because you ask too many questions. You're not quiet. You don't sit with your legs crossed and your mouth shut. You're like, excuse me, why the hell is this pink tax exist? Why the fuck do you think this is okay? Why is it okay for you to talk to me like that and still call yourself my brother? No, that's too many questions. No, no, no. Too many thoughts that they're too intellectually lazy to contend with. So no, they have to yell and scream and curse you out. But then again, it becomes somebody's kink, which is another sick kind of cycle kind of thing. Because in other words, I don't even want to say that on Twitter or X or whatever this is. I don't. I'm not trying to get into heaven, but I ain't trying to burn in hell either. So I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that right alone.
And see, my thing too is that it's two areas of critique. Yeah, the people doing it for all the things y'all named, but then also the people who watch, because it's like if she's saying if her stances are principled, right? Which we should all have these principles. Why wouldn't then when people come at her crazy on stage, isn't there more people grabbing mics and being like, oh no, that's not gonna happen? And why is there even spaces that exist where this can happen? Like her
I,
principles aren't like uniquely hers. They should be all y'all's.
no, but it's all. I think it also might have something to do with her initial delivery, cause she be wilding niggas up. We not gonna act like it's like a very civil. Her name is Choose Violence. She be wilding these niggas up sometimes off the rip. But and so it's not always like somebody's just attacking her randomly. There do be a disagreement, and she's not. Once she feels like you're stupid, it's kind of gets very condescending with the. Yeah, it's what it is. I'm not making nothing up. Like I see it happen in real time. Oh, this nigga just said something stupid, and I be looking at her Abby, and sure enough, her shit come off mute. You know what I'm saying? Every time. So it's like it's not like people are just
Yeah, no,
randomly attacking her. Sometimes she,
yeah, but I don't
attacks
steal
stupid.
from no, but that's my thing though. I just want all of us to have that same kink for embarrassing white people.
I
Because
do.
my thing is I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying
Yeah.
in general, like we're talking about these people enjoy watching black women, I guess, be attacked, whatever. Like why don't we have that same feeling when like we see white people get like cuz it's just like it just like I said, at the end of the day, I don't pretend to be respectable. It's part of the reason why number one, despite like where I've been, I've always kept true to like who I am, where I come from, because I don't feel like nothing that I've accomplished makes me, and I feel like I could talk any way I want. And if that includes not being all docile and like, throwing out roses for these niggas because they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. And my thing is, why the fuck I gotta learn about the brunt of the state in the worst ways? No one wrapped that shit up in a bowl for me. Like nobody made me understand that shit the easy way. No, I had to understand the shit because I had to survive. So these niggas, when you say they wrong, they feel like it's disrespectful. No, you're just wrong, and I'm not gonna pussyfoot around all the ways to make you feel better about being wrong. No, you're wrong. And if you have a problem with it, you're not even arguing with me. You arguing with all these people that came before me that said this is not the way. So I don't know. I just feel like I in general wasn't like trying to make it like about people in this space because I fuck with everybody in this space. I'm saying in general, when I seen how they treated that white man and was like trying to have no one run him down and shit like that. I'm like, as a community, we need to discuss how that happens, how the conditions make it so somebody could rob you and you see that as worthy of protection. But I could tell you you're a homophobic, transphobe, and you're killing the community by creating divisiveness around like all these things. But now I'm a bitch and I'm a whore, but that nigga don't get to be called a bitch and a whore. I feel like in general, that's just like some wild shit.
I think it comes to like all of us. A lot of times we all like will make one black person when they get a voice, even us that don't think they're the voice of the community, we still give them that props. This news told the dude is nobody. Like, what are we gonna do? Start holding spaces about him? Fuck that nigga. We know what he on now. That's all we could really do. We know what type
No,
of
what
shit.
should have happened though, real talk, what should have happened is after he wasn't giving nobody no mics and everyone knew that and he came with that dumb shit trying to play in their face talking about, oh, it's the app, all them niggas should have left. If you want to protect that cracker,
Yeah.
if you want to talk to that Ofe, let him talk to that Ofe by they fucking selves. But that didn't happen. What happened was not only did they stay hours and hours of in the request, they went to part two. And then they went to the next one the next day, like Gabe told them to. Gabe said, I'm not answering no more questions from you nigglets. Show up for tomorrow's show. And then nigglets showed the fuck up. Like, wait, what is going? So yeah, as a
No,
community,
but Pen, let me just add, not only did they still show up, they was sitting there like a fucking bunch of liberal Democrats and posting proof in the Jumbotron that they're in the request. Baby, you think we didn't know? What the
thank
fuck
you.
you think posting proof that he's not letting you up stage? This is my problem with fucking liberals. Why the fuck, as a Democratic person, do you think posting a receipt of why they're excluding you is gonna make them not exclude you anymore? They don't care.
Nah, it worked for me
No, but
before though.
see, if it
Choose
was
that did work
you,
for me before. That's how I got on the stage with Left Partners. I
okay, but that's
fucking
you. And that's
But
because, see, you
yeah,
got under his skin. You got under his skin to begin with. They're not under his skin. See, if that was you, reverse it. If it was you or Penn that did something similar, they put your name in the fucking Jumbotron. They put your name in the header. They talk about you,
nah,
your
hundred
mama, and the
percent.
one who caught you when you
I
came
mean,
out
I
the
put
womb.
News Told the name in the title while he was
Yeah, but
doing it.
that's you, Polly. You got to understand something. It's different when you're a male. It's different when you're a
Okay,
female, and
no
it's
doubt.
different when you crawled underneath somebody's skin. Okay, if you ain't crawling underneath their skin, they're gonna egg you and go about their business. You crawl underneath their skin, then they gotta deal with you. They gotta contend with you some kind of way because if they're feeling it, then their insecurities kick up, and then it's like, okay, what does everybody else see? What does everybody? And then oh no, I can't let what he just said stand. I got to take care of this. See, it's there. It's female. Okay, I could dismiss you. No, you're a female. You're making sense. You're getting people's attention, and it's giving somebody something to think about. Oh no, 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 no. We got to deal with you, and we're gonna deal with you in the most vicious way possible.
So
And it's not
let's ask
surprising.
ourselves a hard question because I think oftentimes we allow the guys who do get a mic and mistreat people, black women like this in any way, shape, or form as like, oh, those individuals. But what does it say about those in the audience that say, oh, I just like to see it happen because, it's entertaining? Is it because it's entertaining or is it deep down, you don't want to be the one being violent because you can live vicariously through the ones on stage. So you're getting your
Yeah,
fucking life out
Yeah,
silly.
they pussy.
yeah, I
If you they
agree.
pussy
And
and they can't
so
handle the person, so they hope that the people that's actually attacking the person win.
yeah, or they're trying to learn. Believe it or not, there are some people who are sitting back just watching and see how people fight, how they survive. Because see, there's a lot of shit that goes down that have nothing to do with the people that you see swinging, but have a lot.
Which is why it's so important to protect people when we see this happening. Because what ends up happening is that violence then restructures itself, it refines itself. So if we have people sitting in the cut looking to see, like, oh, okay, I see how she responded when someone's told her that. So I know next time to respond to her like this, so I can get this response out of her. And she's constantly being attacked in this way. We can't just say that's entertainment. And we would have to, it wouldn't just be the people in active violence that are responsible too. It'd be the ones who sit there and watch it for entertainment. Like that
And
shit
a
ain't cool.
and a worse third thing, the folks who will sit there and watch it happen, but then try to posture themselves as a reprieve from that type of misogynistic violence, and like they basically get like brownie points because you could always say I'm not as violent as that nigga, so let me like give you the bare minimum in terms of like acknowledgement of your humanity and all this stuff. Like you see it a lot with the niggas who will be like call themselves feminists and shit. It's just like I'm posturing myself and putting myself next to the worst of niggas to make it seem like I'm much better than them, but really it's just like I don't know how to call it, but yeah, I don't know. I personally feel like I was telling you this the other day, Pen. I was in a room and I was watching some fascist niggas like basically debate something in Black history that was like a very easy fix. Like something that I like literally had the resource, like I could recall the book. I didn't even have to think about it. But I let them struggle with it. You know why? Because every time you give them more resources, they're just like weaponizing it against you. So I'm like, I'm actually going to not give you what you need to sound smart because niggas will actually believe you because y'all look dumb up here. Like y'all look like y'all don't know what y'all are talking about. And if I go up and give you the resources that you need to be educated, then you're gonna take that in other rooms with other people, and then they're gonna think you're smart and somebody to follow. And I know that you're like genocidalist.
Right. And then people will hear that and be like, well, then how are people supposed to learn? Well, you'll learn by when you start defending and standing up for what's right. Because this is a direct product. This is a self-defense now mechanism that people have to employ because in order, and they can't even like give out information, educate, because that puts them in direct danger. And they know that the people that they're trying to educate and protecting them. So if people want to get educated, guess what? You're going to have to move different in the spaces.
I like that idea though, Trues. Like, cause I'll be quick to not even just on this platform. Like, I'll be on other apps doing that shit too. I'll be hearing niggas talking and like, y'all be giving me, and it's the same thing, exactly what you said. Actually, it'll be a situation where I'm on another app, right, and niggas is talking some shit, and I done already had the conversation 10,000 times on Twitter, so I could bring them talking points over there. And it seems like, oh my God, this guy is incredibly intelligent. But I just stole all the shit y'all just said. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I picked all the pieces out that I agreed with and felt like, oh yeah, I agree with this. I agree with this. You know, so the rest of that shit, you know, I threw in the garbage and kept it moving. I ain't need them pieces in my chain. I got the pieces I needed. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I'm gonna start not doing that as much, jumping on stage and wilding these niggas up like that, because they just gonna take that information like, oh, he smoked me, and either they're gonna use it like they smart enough to think of that type of shit, or they're going to, um, what you call them? Sorry, I'm getting messages here. They're gonna either use it like they smart enough to think about that kind of shit, or like, yeah, I lost my train of thought. I think I know where I was going though.
Yeah, I feel you. I see where you're going. I don't know me, and then so that makes me, I guess, question because like I can see someone ask, okay, well, what happens when I go into a space and I see like someone going at it, like confronting something fascist or misogynistic or any of those things that's happening? Does that then person, do we expect them to just stay alone on stage, or do they invite that kind of vitriol back at them? I think the reason why I'm asking that is because I just don't understand. And Shoes brought it up with the whole Gabe shit. I don't understand why it's not a trigger for us, like a reflective action to do the right thing. To like, Gabe stole money from Black people. The reflective action is to get that nigga out the paint. Why are we crowding in his room, giving him numbers and entertainment and asking that nigga about reparations? He don't have no track record in. Like, that's crazy. And how easy it is. So easy that they literally have rooms and spaces where they're like, yo, you need to pay your bills today? Go to
I
the Black
mean,
space and say this and this, and those niggas will give you money. Like, that's some wild shit.
look at the Sir Major situation, bro. He been on this app for how many years? Living, chilling, big ass spaces, all that shit. Y'all goofy motherfuckers that be going in there, y'all don't understand. You're supporting a nigga that stole money from our people. You don't care though. That shit is weird to me. I'm gonna like niggas is like, yo, son, that y'all need to, you need to leave that shit alone. I ain't even get started yet. What are y'all talking about? Fuck you mean leave that shit alone? Is y'all crazy? Like y'all must have never been in my city or never met a real nigga in your life. Leave what alone? What? Bruh, choose. You need to tell these niggas how we give it up out here, bruh. We are the definition of up and stuck. We made that up. You heard? Like, what are y'all talking about, nigga? We not gonna. Bad boy. I thought I told you that we won't stop. Bitch. Fuck you mean? Like, niggas talking
Nah,
about, yo, y'all need it. We tired of hearing now, and I see what happened when I got on the app. Niggas was tired of hearing what's your name, Dirty and this nigga fighting, and I was tired of that shit too. Yo, I'm not doing that shit. I'm not talking this shit in spaces all day. Y'all don't hear. It wasn't no bang outs. It ain't been me banging out with these. Nah, timeline terrorists. Did y'all gotta fight the facts now? Y'all had an opportunity to talk to me for a long time, and I was ignoring y'all goofy motherfuckers. Y'all want to keep my dick in your mouth? Now fight these facts. That's all over the timeline. I'm not even, yo, bro. They couldn't move without, yo. What's this shit Polly just posted about you? Niggas have sent me the recordings every day. Yo, what's the shit Polly posted about you, bro? That's crazy. The blackface shit went viral instantly. That shit had like 50,000 views in seconds, bro. Tariq Nasheed blocked me on multiple, on my burners, all kind of shit. These niggas is fucking weird, and I'm not stopping nothing, bro. Y'all could listen. Yeah, I could spend 84. It's $84 a year for the blue check, right? I could spend $84,000. Y'all could get every account clip. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna spend 84 more dollars. Stupid. Fuck you mean? Hey, like yo, y'all get an
nah.
account clip.
Yo, we got Polly hot, but I was
Y'all
gonna
get an
say,
account
Polly,
clip.
you
Look,
gonna have the space after this or what?
nah, you clip it. I'm good. I got bust some moves and shit. I just was talking some shit. You got it.
Oh,
I'm
you're not
sorry.
gonna have the space after this one?
Nah, I just had a space before this.
Damn. But you always be having spaces, so.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta do stuff though.
Oh, so you want to live this shit, like have life and all that
Yeah, I
outside?
mean, like I'm
Whatever.
trying. It's Saturday and shit in New York City. It's
Word.
not flooding right now. Like I missed the whole Friday. You know, I would like to, touch a little grass, get some oxygen, stuff like that.
This is the first weekend all month that it's not raining
Yo,
on the
I'm trying
weekend.
to like, bro. I need to get some O2.
Enjoy it, I
Yeah.
guess.
All I know is I think that as we grow as people, we need to start having those standards for people in our circles and the people around us. Cause yeah, you shouldn't be able to be a thief and a fascist in general and have community because that's how the Nazis started. Because they were just like accepting niggas was like just being like, oh, you're a white supremacist fascist. Okay, cool. You can still be my neighbor. We'll still shake hands and we'll
Mm-mm.
go out to the like. That's not a thing that can be like normalized,
And
and it
what's
is
crazy is,
normalized.
like,
So
we hear them going, I have a black friend. And then you
like
got motherfuckers that will become the token black friend for the fucking white supremacists.
literally,
Like, this nigga's, yes, of course he's gonna help you with your house payment and your car and everything. You're the fucking token black friend that validates all of his racism, dummy. That's why he's so willing to help your stupid ass. Anyway, I'm sorry.
no, yeah. And I mean, even that white girl in your space the other day, before me and Chris got on stage, it was like, oh no, she's not racist. She never said a racist slur in her
Which
life.
one?
Like
Which one? Who? Wait, who?
the white woman that was in your space the other day, where she said niggas for Trump.
Oh yeah, nah, I know, bro.
Before
Yeah, I
before
know.
I got on stage, before me and Chris got on stage, it was black people on stage saying, no, she's not racist. She's conservative, but she's not racist. 2 seconds later, in my SpongeBob voice, literally videos in the jumbotron of her saying nigga. Like, what? So I just feel
Yeah.
like, yeah, like shit is really spooky out here. There's gonna be some black people who try to
Cause like even if
um
you was gonna try to sorry, so if you were gonna try to cover it up, it would have been like N words for Trump. You would have never uttered the word if you wasn't
niggas.
waiting for the opportunity to say that motherfucker this whole time. Oh yes, yes, I finally get to say it in the open with no yeah, you get recourse though, shorty. We here
Yeah.
too, stupid.
And she didn't say that shit in front of us. She was kept
come
saying the
on.
N-word.
They wasn't giving up no mics, and they had, and a lot of those accounts got like the real vocal ones of us, the attackers. They got most of us blocked. So they knew what they was doing, and they knew what they know what they doing with all of these spaces, bro. They fucking cultivating a situation where whoever they trying to get to talk they shit. I don't know if it's money being exchanged or how this is happening, but the same it did. Like I'm seeing this playbook repeatedly now. Get the motherfucker on stage. Let the people on stage that's gonna ask the softball ass questions that seem like hard questions, and then clip the space. That's how niggas is doing it now.
Nigga said to a nigga who stole money from black people, said, "Why do you use AAVE?" What?
That was
Who
so corny.
cares?
You
Who
can tell Make it
cares?
was like that's why he didn't give a fuck about the people. He was like, okay, what's a BLM sounding question? Like that nigga don't have no tie to like
Yo.
black liberation struggle or none of that shit or holding people accountable or politics. These niggas is all trying to get names and social capital off an app, but at the expense of the people is where I'm just like, nah, fuck that. But I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
Ooh,
I want to close the
it's that
space.
time. It's
Oh,
that
thank
time.
you, baby. I was about to say, like, can I talk to you, please?
Please.
All right, y'all take
Please.
care.
I'll
And
see
I
y'all
enjoyed
next
all y'all.
time.
It was a dope conversation.
Happy Saturday.